Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fibertown. This is episode 228, and it's the 11th of February 2019. Sorry. This is me today. I am in my kitchen. My name is Emily, if you are new here, and welcome. I'm very glad you're here. All are welcome. Anyway, I'm in my kitchen with Alice. You can probably hear tip-tapping around down here, and we have a backlog of things to chat about. So I have giveaways. I have just some general chat about stuff going on in, come on, it's going on everywhere. Yes, the knitting community has kind of been woken up to it, but I want to chat about that a wee bit. I have so many FOs. I have a couple of works in progress and some things I'm swatching for. I have spinning, I have fiber prep, I have sewing, and just one tiny little acquisition. But yes, it's also the week of my fiber camp, my knitting camp. So in about an hour, I'm going to have 6 brand new 16, 17, 18-year-olds come to my house, and I'm going to teach them how to knit. So I have actually, some FOs of mine this past few weeks have been the brims of hats. I do the ribbing so that there's some fabric for them to hold on to, and they can just come in and learn the knit stitch. We only have a few days, so I like to start with that, and then I teach them how to cast on and purl later, because they actually finish their hat pretty quickly if they're usually inspired to do so. So anyway, that's kind of how I teach that class and structure it, given the timing that I go through with that particular knit camp. So yeah, it's been a very long time. It's been strange. Around here, we have been sick constantly, it feels like. Everybody in the family, from stomach flu to cold, which you can probably hear in my voice. I just wanted to give a shout out to this shawl, which held up to pretty rough use. This is out of Plotulopi. This is my Tales from the Isle of Purbeck shawl. I kind of slept in this when I had the flu, just chilled and sort of feverish, and this was a great source of comfort, and it's wearing incredibly well. It shows no wear at all. It's been bunched up, like, under my head. So, if you like woolly wools, this is a category unto itself, Icelandic wool. It's gorgeous, it's hard wearing, and it's very inexpensive, relatively speaking, to knit. I would kind of like a sweater in Plotulopi myself. So if you're looking for good wool that's really affordable to knit big projects in, try Plotulopi, Letlopi. I know the Woolly Thistle carries it, Schoolhouse Press, probably other places. So Alice is underfoot, licking the floor. That's what usually happens here. So I have sat down a couple of times and just tried to talk about what's been going on and what the conclusion is in terms of racism. And the conclusion is that I very quickly start to ramble and not make a lot of sense except in my own head. So I think the gist of what I want to say is that if you are a white person and this makes you uncomfortable or upset, then I would respectfully urge you to stay with those feelings, to feel the feelings, to feel the discomfort, and let it lead you to a question of why. And from that question, you might find, hopefully you will find, that there's a lot you don't know and there's a lot you can find out. And just to keep an open mind and spirit. And not to feel personally accused, because that's not what this is about. It's about waking up to what a large part of our beloved community goes through on a daily basis in terms of navigating a world that's constructed systemically to value whiteness. And you may not realize the extent of that. But as I said, these are members of our community, and it's a quality of life question for them, and it's often a quality of safety. and people do encounter violence. So, as I said, if you feel uncomfortable, lean into it, stay with it, explore more. The Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast did an episode, a bonus episode, where she discussed resources. So you might want to check that out. There's a lot out there. It's work that never ends. It's lifetime work. So thanks to those people who are helping the community to start to discover. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I was kind of relatively coherent, I feel like, I hope. So, yeah, let's move on to giveaways. And the very first one I have is the Zauberball Crazy, the chocolate time, this one is called. And I had so many lovely comments on my last YouTube video. And the winner of this one is Inspired by Fiber. I think that's her Ravelry handle. So Inspired by Fiber, get in touch with me. Or maybe that's in her Instagram. You did tell me what your Instagram was too, so I'll have that information. But get in touch with me on Ravelry, and I will get this out in the mail to you. You lucky thing. So that's the first giveaway. The second giveaway is for Handspun Winter. And I have an FO for Handspun Winter today. But that giveaway is from Carrie from Serenity Farms, who is a gorgeous person. And happy birthday, Carrie. She is giving away a 4-ounce braid of roving from her Corriedale sheep. So she's got amazing Corriedale. And I will put a picture in the beginning, sort of the intro of this episode, and I will show you also. That's the one. It'll be something like that. So you'll get in touch with me on Ravelry, the winner I'm going to tell you in a minute, and I will put you in touch with Carrie, and you'll sort that out. So the winner for the Handspun Winter giveaway of the Corriedale is Simoom. So thank you for commenting in that thread, and there's some gorgeous stuff happening in the Handspun Winter thread in the Fibertown Ravelry group. So take a look, please. And, you know, if you're interested in getting your own wool products from Serenity Farms, Carrie is My Wool Mitten on Instagram, and you can find a link to her store. All right, let me just shake things up and show you acquisitions first, because there's just this one tiny little Zauberball. A new Zauberball. I kind of have this one is Flussbett. Flussbett. The last ones I finished were called like Jackie wie Hose. And I think there's some sort of German saying jacket with hose. I don't know, kind of like half 12, a dozen of one, half, I can't talk today. 12 of one, dozen of another kind of saying. I may be wrong. I should just hush because I'm often wrong. But yes, so train of thought, Zauberball Crazy, The Shifty Sweater by Andrea Mowry. I don't know if I can handle that much mosaic knitting because I find it very slow going. And it makes a pretty dense fabric, but I think a variety of Zauberball Crazies would be so fun in that. But I think I might spin for one. Dye and then spin for one. I do have a lot of Cormo roving, Cormo top actually, that I could dye up this week on our dye day. So I might try that. So that's my acquisition. Let me just keep going with the Zauberball Crazy theme and show you my February socks. Here they are. Now this particular colorway, I'm on the heel flap, you can see right there. This colorway is called Piano Bar. Yeah, Piano Bar. So yeah, there's sock number one. I really would like to finish it by the end of this week. I'm a little bit behind on my sock knitting, and it's a short month, and I've been trying to fit in a ton of work stuff this month as well as knit camp. So knitting has been tricky to get to. So the other two FOs I have, oh actually, sorry, that was a work in progress. Don't mind me, I'm just messing things up today. I will admit I'm a bit out of sorts because of my students arriving in about an hour. Oh, they're on their way, but they're still in DC, so. Okay, on my hands, yet another, well, maybe this is the jacket with hose colorway. Maybe, yeah, I think it is. I had the tag over there. Zabberball Crazy Socks. These are fresh from the wash. They are dry. They're not looking great. They're so fun. This one is much more marl. Well, actually, this one's got more solid cuff and a marled toe, and this one does the opposite. They're the coziest, and I've been trying to fold my socks a la Marie Kondo so they can sit in the drawer and look like this. Probably put those right on after I finish recording. I'm wearing my Lovage sweater, by the way. There it is. It's a very cozy sweater today. There's a bit of snow on the ground, but it's starting to rain now. So kind of a perfect day for sweater weather. Okay, 2 sweaters off the needles pretty much in the same week. The first is my Breezy cardigan. It's still full of ends to be woven in. But the last time we talked about this, I was cutting the steeks. There were 2 steeks. There was one at the top where I had to cast on extra stitches for these extended fronts. So that steek is right about here. And the other steek was basically up the center of the fabric, right here. So that I didn't have to purl, 500 stitches in lace weight yarn. So I cut the steeks. I crocheted and then cut the steek. And then I started the steek sandwich. Now, Kate Davis explains this on her blog with pictures, much better than I could really explain it. But I'm going to try anyway. So yeah, you cut your steek and you have your little flap of sort of steek material, and here's a bit of one that I'm going to tuck in there into that steek sandwich. And what you do is you pick up and knit your ribbing or your button band or whatever it may be on the right side. And once that's the desired length, you turn around and you pick up the same amount of stitches, ideally, that you picked up on the front side. So she does try to have you sort of find the little loop, little bump on the back of the work and pick that up. That was the pickup for the front stitch, the front side. I found that was incredibly challenging in this wool. So I just kind of went for the same amount of stitches, and it didn't have to be the exact spot of the pickup. So what you do then is knit up the same length, or the same amount of rows. I had to eyeball it because I decided to rib on the front and do stockinette on the back. It just went so much faster. And that actually did produce a steek sandwich that had a variation in width because the ribbing pulls in, of course. So I had to reduce some of the stitches on this wrong side towards the end of the knitting, so like up here. And I just kind of eyeballed it. I think I reduced 8 stitches, decreased rather. Then you're knitting on, you have these front stitches hanging out on a needle while you knit the back stitches, and then you basically do a 3-needle bind off, but then you're still left with live stitches, and then you just go ahead and bind those off. She recommends an I-cord bind off. I just did a typical bind off. So down here, the steek sandwich is still open. You can see there's the steek stuff right there. See, there's my steek that I cut. And I did that in a different color thread because I wanted to show you guys the steek. But with the steek sandwich, I can really effectively hide all of that. And I'm going to just seam with this little tail. I'm going to seam that up down there. So this is the ribbing on the bottom of the sweater, which I wish were longer. I'm not happy with the length of that. It should be longer. It's okay. Like when I try it on, it hits at high hip. But I do have extra. I think I'm going to use this extra to lengthen the sleeves actually, because they could be like 1.5 inches longer. So I really love the feel of this steak sandwich. It's like a tidy little package, just kind of cushy. I did worry that it might be too heavy at the fronts because the fronts are supposed to fall open like a sort of a waterfall effect. So, and then I picked up and knit all around and down to this other side and knit that ribbing. And that ribbing is like at a different gauge. All the ribbings are different on this sweater, and it's fine with me. I'm not going to fuss about it. But I did have little steak sandwiches to put where I cut the top steak. So rather than do a steak sandwich for this whole band, I just didn't want to do that. I thought it would be absolutely fine just to do the same thing, but, you know, keep it to the area where I had cut the top steak. I think it would have been nice to have this entire thing steak sandwiched. Would have led some cushiness around the neck, but it wasn't necessary. And I've been working on this sweater for over a year, and I'm ready to be done. Now, I'm not happy with the way this meets up to that steak sandwich. I think I might need to do some crocheting to sort of, I haven't blocked it, so I might try that. But I don't know if that blocking will hold up over time and keep it sort of flush with this ribbing. See what I'm saying there? So, yeah, so what I did was pick up and knit this, and pick up and knit this. And then I just did the same thing, but I only did 2 needle bind off right here and right here. So it's just such a useful little sweater that I don't know if it's going to go on over my lovage. I knit this out of St. Kilda from Blacker, which is just a gorgeous blend of Bourre, Soe, and Shetland wool. It's a very limited clip. Yeah, it doesn't look great over my, yeah, look at that. So when you close this up correctly, it kind of looks like this. You can put a shawl pin right here, or you can just let it float open like that. It's incredibly cozy and lightweight. As I said, it's lace weight yarn. So I started in December of 2017. I think it was December. And I do have a Ravelry page for it. So I think I'm going to be weaving in ends this week as I have little breaks from teaching my kiddos to knit. There it is, folded in half at the back neck. This is my second Breezy, and I've gotten years and years and years and years of wear out of my first one, which was knit out of Wollmeise lace. So, with the help of some friends and kind people, I was able to get extra yarn to finish that, and I think I'll eventually make the sleeves longer. We'll block and see what happens. So then, my second sweater FO is the Rocaine by Christina Danahy, and this is from a Pom Pom Quarterly. And this is this is a fleece to sweater project. This was knit out of my Hog Island fleece that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool 2017, I think, and shared with Sarah Pomegranate. She spun hers and knit an amazing poncho, and she dyed the yarn with indigo when she was at my house this summer. So, you know, I did some modifications to a certain extent on this, which I described, I think, in a previous episode, and I honestly don't remember now what they were. I tell you, when you have had weeks and weeks of interrupted sleep because you're cleaning up vomit or you're sick yourself, the memory is the first thing to go. It's just not sharp. So it's fine. I can't remember my modifications, but they're there in the internet for posterity somewhere. Oh my gosh. So the Hog Island is it's a critically endangered breed of sheep. The particular sheep from that supplied this fleece was a 4-H project for the daughter the daughter of a well-known shepherd did, Emily Chamelin. Her daughter, what is her name? Lydia, maybe? So that was her 4-H project, and Emily, who is, as I said, a very well-known sheep shearer. She's amazing. She sheared the sheep, and actually maybe I will take a picture and try to tag her on Instagram, because they might get a kick out of seeing the finished object, and I'll try to get Sarah Pomegranate to do the same. This is a lovely sweater. It's a little more fitted than I would like. And I will say that the neckline in this, it's very warm, incredibly warm. I spun it woolen. But the neckline is kind of more open than I would like, and I think I'm always going to have to wear a cowl when I have this sweater on. Soonish, I will take a picture, put it on Instagram, put it on Ravelry, so you all can see what it looks like. I did a split hem with kind of a significantly longer ribbing in the back. The ribbing in this wool is a delight to knit. Just so nice and, dare I say, again, cushy. And this might be the cushy episode, friends. So then, the rest of my works in progress include, well, the socks I already showed you, as well as the second version of this, which is the underwing mitt. This is take 2 for me because the first go around, the gauge was tiny. It was way too small. This is perfect. I'm knitting it on US 1.5s, 2.5 millimeters. I'm using Biche et Bûche for wool, which is a Scottish lamb's wool from a French company. And yeah, this really gorgeous heathery charcoaly black, and then this natural color. Now, the duplicate stitching on the moth is done with tuku wool in this gorgeous colorway. I think Corinne sent me this a while back to try, and it's the perfect color for this. So I'm not really happy with how it's looking though. It's just rounder than the Biche et Bûche. So the duplicate stitching is sitting on top of the fabric too much. So I unplied it and I started using just the single to do this side, but it really started to fall apart. So I don't know what I'm going to do for the next one. I'm going to leave it as is for now. I really do adore the moon phases. Actually, I put moon phases on my own mitten pattern. So I really love that. So the second one is underway. Here it is. I don't know when I'll get to that, but I'm actually using this thing, which I've had for ages. It's very useful. Just didn't feel like using my Goodreader app or Knit Companion. Holy smokes! Sorry about that. Was that the most exciting thing that's happened to you today? It was for me so far. This is the most professional knitting podcast out there. All right, so that's the end of works in progress. Let me show you spinning. I picked a hobbledehoy set of batlings out of my stash, and I made this. This is 280 yards, 2-ply, Magical Forest Bats. Has some yak in there. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Hobbledehoy is a gifted, gifted fiber artist. Now, oh, I also started processing my Jacob fleece. This was a fleece from Ohio, I believe, and I purchased this Maryland Sheep and Wool 2018. And I have spun the white. I have 450 yards of a 2-ply, and it is over, I don't know if it's over, I think it's overplied. This has been washed. Look at it. This is like me when I was a new spinner. I would just put too much ply in there. So I might steam it and hang it with a weight, which I don't like to do generally, but this one might require it. Look at that. This one's really nice. Nice and balanced. This one is just crazy. So I have separated out colors in this Jacob fleece, and doing that was a great stress reliever. in some very stressful moments this past 6 weeks or so for me, sitting down, sorting out the colors, putting them on my drum carder, which is a Brother drum carder. I got it on Etsy. It's one of the least expensive ones you can find out there. Anyway, so that's the first color. This is the second color in the Jacob gradient. It's got a little bit of dark in there. And then down the line is this. And then the next one is the all dark. So this is sort of all the white fibers all by themselves. This is the white fibers adjacent to dark fibers where they were just intermingled and they wanted to stay together. And then this is more dark adjacent to white. And then again, the final bit will be dark, dark, dark. I'm thinking a sweater. I wonder what the Shifty sweater would be like with a Jacob gradient. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to spin it all 2-ply and que sera, sera. It'll be a lot of yardage, all said and done. So sewing, I have had very, very little Sojo. Did I show you my Morris blazer last time? I don't think I did. I'm looking at my notes. So I did show you my jeans, and I have something to add about the jeans that I forgot to tell you last time. But let me show you my Morris blazer first. This is by Grainline Studio. And it's made out of an organic, I don't think I can get it on. Let's try an organic, organic herringbone jersey, all cotton. It's like a very stable, I don't think it's a double knit, but it's a very stable, not very stretchy jersey. And the Morris blazer can be done in those kinds of jerseys as well as wovens. So it is it was tricky for me to make and get it to look the way I wanted it to. Like it has these sort of points like that. This side looks okay. This side is wonky. So I really should pull some seams out and do some redoing. But it's black thread on black cloth, and I feel like I'm just going to end up damaging the fabric, like snagging it. So I'm very hesitant to do so. I still do need to slip stitch down sort of this interfacing here. But it's a great piece. I do wish I had made a larger size. I made a 10, I think. I should have made a 12. Because really I can only wear this wear this on top of like tank tops. Like willow tanks rather, that sort of thing. But I wear those a ton, so I think it'll all work out. So yeah, that's Morris Blazer by Grainline Studio. I also used really stiff interfacing in the cuffs, which was a bit of a bummer. I changed the interfacing in the rest of the garment. So then my jeans, my ginger jeans, I've basically worn nonstop since I finished them. I've washed them once. I don't wear them when I'm working in daycares because I feel like, I'm sitting on floors sometimes and it's just so germy and grimy. So I do sort of coddle them a little bit, but I do wear them to work. And, the embroidery is holding up really well. Let's see. There we go. So I wanted to talk about the waistband, and let me see if I can do this there's my lovely lower back. The waistband, my waist to hip ratio is significant. So what I did is I took, I did a muslin of the waistband and put it on, and it gaped back here. See how it lays nice and flat now? That is because I took the pattern piece and I put darts in the pattern piece, like one on equidistant from this front line. I darted the paper. And I actually used Swedish tracing paper for that because you can sew that really easily, but you can probably sew most papers that aren't tissue paper. You can sew tissue paper too, but it won't stay together very well. And so And I tried that. I did another pattern piece from that, and it really, as you could see, stays nice and close, doesn't gape. So I made a new pattern piece that really suits the curve. So that's something I forgot to mention last time, is a modification to the Ginger jeans, and it really makes a huge difference. Yeah, I kind of eyeballed the darts. I just drew them in, sewed them, tried them on, bingo. Yeah, so I don't have any immediate plans to sew anything else, although I think I would like to make the Dawn jeans by Megan Nielsen or the Morgan jeans. I can't decide between the two. The Morgan jeans are another grain closet case, and the Ginger jeans are closet case studio designs as well. So I do have the denim for that. They're both non-stretch denim patterns, and I don't know, the bandwidth to sew has not been there. It really has to be a certain energy level for me to really get into a sewing project. I suspect it may be seasonal too. You know, maybe this is just the downtime for me sewing wise. It's great knitting weather, so. And I should show you then, the last thing I want to tell you about today is an ambitious project I've started swatching for. And it's out of this book, Shetland by Marie Wallin. Let me just see where my knitters are at the moment. Ooh, they're almost here. I better finish up. So I want to knit the Samfree. Gosh, I want to knit a few things out of here. But the Samfree, you know what? I was thinking this would be great for my Jacob fleece, Muckle Row. But the Samfree is one of those incredibly complex colorwork garments. I'm pretty much decided I'm not going to do the stripes. Let me show you my first swatch. I'm using my Alice Starmore 2-ply Hebridean that I got at an estate sale. Thank you to that crafty lady for leaving behind a legacy after she passed of this beautiful yarn. It's gorgeous. So yeah, so here's the first swatch. I do not think I'll do the stripes. Really enjoyed this first sleeve I attempted. I will say though that there's some errata, and the chart, trying to read the chart is bonkers. And I will show you the chart because she has it online too with the errata. Yeah, this is where you're supposed to try to read where the shaping is. I can't read that. I can't see where those lines go. So anyway, I moved some colors around and I cast on at a larger gauge. And actually I'm gonna change that green to, I think it's the green that I don't like how it works in here. I'm gonna change it. Do I have that little swatch I made? Where is it? I don't know. Anyway, I went through my Jamieson and Smith color cards, and I found some other colors I'm going to substitute in, as well as a skein of Isle yarn that's going to look really nice. So this is, except for this green, this really dark green here, which is going to be a different green, this is kind of the look. So I think what I'll do is cast on provisionally, like as the color work starts above where the striping should be, and go from there. It's going to be a big challenge in terms of, I'm going to knit it in the round instead of flat, which is how the pattern is written, which I'm not into that. And I know Fruity Knitting knit this sweater, and she described how she did the shoulder shaping and the short rows, and that looks a little scary, but I'm not going to worry about it till I get there. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'm sending you guys best wishes and love, and I hope you're all healthy and you're listening to each other, and you'll share appropriately in the comments. And yeah, stay tuned. I will probably be putting my Knit Campers contributions to the end of this video. If I don't, then I will do a separate video for them. And they're about to get here, so I've got to clean up. Take care till next time. So we had knit camp this week. It was as much fun as it always is. On our dye day, I dyed a ton of this Cormo roving with the thought of doing a spin for the Shifty sweater. Aren't these fun? Look at these big wheels. This is the main color. It's like 150 grams of wool. It's chestnuts and greens and browns and creams. I just love them. Anyway, I'm about to insert the clips of my brilliant knit students. They were so much fun. We had a great week. And yeah, they were a lot of fun to have here, and I hope you enjoy listening to them.
Subscribers! So this week, we've spent a lot of time knitting.
We made these hats.
We each knit a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get a little textured close up. I really like this color because I like that there's a little variation, but it's not too much.
And then we dyed our own yarns.
Yeah, we each dyed our yarn.
I had this wonderful color. And this was actually my first time knitting, while both of these wonderful ladies had been knitting for quite a long time. So I got the full experience as a newbie, and it was really great. I learned a lot, and it's actually pretty easy to pick up. It's definitely hard and takes a while, and I've made quite a lot of mistakes, including messing up all my yarn. But it's really fun, and I highly recommend it. Get involved in the knitting community.
So I learned how to purl this week, which has been kind of hard, and I've caused some holes. If anyone wants to see, you can see some holes. Whoops.
I also learned how to purl this week, and I learned how to cast on.
Oh yeah, me too. So now Coin and I are working on cowls. Evie is too, but she has some other tasks at hand.
I'm doing my rolling into a ball.
This is also the first time I used like round
like
needles.
Yeah, I'd never used round needles before, which makes things a lot easier, I'm realizing.
We also dyed, as Quinn said, both our yarn and these shawls.
Oh, our scarves.
And we used flowers for both of them.
No,
yeah.
we did.
Or, sorry, not the dye, but for
for the scarves we used
dyeing
flowers.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so
So
this
there's
has
some
been a
nice
really
patterns
fun
on
week.
there. Yeah.
I've also learned a lot about sheep, which I
Yes.
never knew.
Different breeds and where they're from and what to expect from the type of
Breed.
fleece they produce.
And we've been having some really good food.
We've been having great food.
Yes.
I learned a lot about perseverance, honestly, because there have been times where my knitting has not gone as planned, but then you realize, like, Emily's really great at fixing things, and she really knows how to fix all the issues.
And you know what? This ISW perfectly embodies the explore,
It
persevere,
sure does.
grow theme
Yes.
of this year.
But overall, it's been a really great week.
Yeah, I'm definitely never going to forget how to knit and definitely going to use
Yeah,
it in
I'm
my
definitely, like,
everyday life.
I'm definitely going to start knitting things for people, which is a really fun thing, because I think if someone knits something for me, I would really like it.
Yeah.
So,
It also
I hope
shows
to
a
do
bit
the
more
same.
personality than maybe a store-bought gift.
Or like a gift
Exactly.
card.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone here on Ravelry
It's
understands
not Ravelry.
that. YouTube.
On the YouTube, in the YouTube
In the
community.
fiber craft community. Okay. Is that it, everyone? Anyone have any
Yes.
final words?
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Have a great day.
everything.
Knit always.
Good evening or morning, wherever.
Good morning, America.
Wherever you guys are in the world. Basically, we're here today to talk a little bit about our knitting experience. We were understudies to Emily for for a week, and she essentially taught us how to knit.
Yeah, I mean, this is my
So
hat right
these
here.
are our projects right now. Today is the last day, so we got to finish these up.
Yeah, and it's a really enlightening experience. We all went into this with no prior knitting experience, and we were able to pick it up somewhat quickly.
Highly addicting.
Yeah, very relaxing, really.
Highly addicting. Almost like dangerously addicting.
On the first day, like my fingers were really cramping. But
Yeah.
over time,
That is
you
true,
get
actually.
Just
better.
learn to relax and just get into it. Really a great experience.
I think one thing is my thumb is kind of getting poked a lot from pushing on the needles. But
If you guys have any tips for us, like leave them in the comments, maybe.
other than that,
We also
yeah,
got to make silk scarves using flowers.
Mm,
that
we
was
did.
fun. Yeah.
Well, and we've also learned about the history of knitting.
Oh, some like about
Yeah.
sheep, different kinds of sheep.
Multiple breeds of sheep.
And even bunnies that are used. In
we-
alpaca.
there's-
Bunnies.
I mean, yeah,
There's an
she has just a variety of wools and shepherd friends and things like that.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Fiverr Town. Make sure to
Fiverr
smash
Town.
that like button and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
wrong hand.
We'll be back.